I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostles as a great millstone that rule well. Salutation to all the Akim out here pushing his word with sincerity and true speckled birds, women and children that's listening and learning. I want to say Shalom. I want to say Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, through water Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, coming at you again today with another lesson. Hopefully it's edifying. And we're going to call this manifestation, right? Destiny. This is definition. It says manifest destiny was in 19th century American belief by the so-called, white man. You know what I'm saying? That the United States was divinely ordained to expand across the North America's continent from the Atlantic to the Pacific. From the Atlantic on the East Coast and the Pacific is on the West Coast, right? Now, to a certain extent, they're right? Because when you go to the book of Job, the 9th chapter, I think, to 9th chapter 24, it said the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, right? Who's the wicked? So-called white man, right? And it said not who is and where is he, right? But he basically he took the land from his rightful owners, right, which was the so-called Native Americans, right, the Seminole Indians and the Latinos and Hispanics, right, the Native American Indians, right, as they would like to call it, right. So, and they did it in a fucked up way, man, a wicked ass fucked up way. You know what I'm saying? You had Christopher Columbus, Christopher Colon, whatever. I mean, he came over to the Hispanic and Latino tribes and indigenous tribes. What did that man do, man? Man, he put them in slavery. He stole their riches. He gave them diseases. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He really did a number on our brothers, man. He tried to he tried to extinct them. He tried to wipe them out. You know what I'm saying? So-called Mexicans, the Zorro. You know what I'm saying? So and then what did the white man do from England, the British? Okay, what did they do here in America? They brutally murdered the North American Indians, man, and the Seminole Indians, and took their land and put them in slavery. He took their riches. So, in a sense, yeah, but the so-called white man don't want to admit, right, is that goes both ways. So, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, got some manifest destiny shit for your ass too. So-called white man, right? Here in America and all over the world, Europe, Europe, Israel, and wherever's white man at, man. Hey, Lord got you. Don't trust me. You can run, but you can't hide. And let me get this scripture real quick. Ezekiel, let me see. Ezekiel 25 and verse 14. And everybody in the knowing knows these scriptures, man. Even the elite, so-called white people know these scriptures, man. All right, so let's go. Let's start at the 12th verse, right? It said, this is the 25th chapter and the 12th verse, right? It said, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, right? It says, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah, which is so-called black man, right? The African American, you call them, man, so-called, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Edom is a so-called white man, right? Which is the true red man. You know what I'm saying? The so-called white man is the true red man that the Bible speaks about, man. First came out red all over like a hairy garment. That's Esaw, Edom. All right. The word Edom in itself is comes from the Hebrew Adawam, which means what? Red. Because he has no melanin in his skin, man. His blood show forth through his skin, man. You know what I'm saying? It's, I dealt against the house of Judah, the so-called African American man, right? By taking vengeance, right? And they took vengeance on who? On the so-called black man, man, by bringing them over here, and cargo slave ships, man, and making them what? Work for free, and torturing them, and murdering them, and then just torturing them just because. Yeah, you go on YouTube. I was just watching the other day, man. They had something called the wheel. They was just had the black people just walking on this fucking wheel all goddamn day just to be walking on it. It didn't do nothing. It didn't create shit. It was just for punishing them. That's it. Because one time, when you go into the Bible and in history, right, King David was so-called ruling over white people, right? Yeah, other kings that, and King David was from the tribe of Judah, right? And the Hebrews, Yahweh, was a so-called black man, African American man, you know. All right. You know, and then, and other kings, right, of Israel, which are Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians, right? And during the Dark and Middle Age, right, the so-called black man was ruling in Europe, right? The African American man and woman was ruling in England, in France, in Germany. You know what I'm saying? Spain, all of Europe. The Vikings were so-called black men, African American men, African American women, man. That was the history, man. So during the Dark and Middle Ages, they had so-called white men in slavery. All right. It says, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and have greatly offended and have revenged himself upon them. Yeah, because look what's happening now, right? Like, you could just say, oh, that was just slavery. That was, man, long time. Man, listen. That was long, like Bunny Mac, long time ago. You know what I'm saying? During the 60s, right, they was hanging so-called black men and black women. What are you talking about? That wasn't that long ago. Trust me. You got African Americans that still living today. That was born in that time. And they about lynching and seeing things like that, man. And it was just in the South. It was all in the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? It was in New York City. Man. Because what made Wall Street? Slaves being brought over. Right? So-called African American slaves being brought over to New York. That's what started Wall Street up, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. To New York. Got all kind of stories about how the so-called white mobs, you know what I'm saying, murdering Africans, Americans and shit all throughout, man. Children, men, women, they didn't give a fuck. All throughout the Midwest. All, man, basically do all of America. It ain't just that, not just the Deep South. It was all throughout all America, man. Because the Lord put us through what? All four corners of the earth. And we all went into slavery. 14th verse says, I will lay my vengeance upon Edom. Wait a minute. That's what Yahweh Shem Shah is going to what? Do. He says, by the hand of my people Israel, which are so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Samuel Indians, things like that. You know, the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes. Right? And they shall do and eat him according to my anger and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh. The power of Yahweh, man. Yes, sir. So, that's the manifest destiny for who? Esau, Edom. Esau, Edom, that's your manifest destination, baby. It's just so-called white man, right? So, hey, that's your future, man. That's what's happening. That's what's going down. And with that, I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, and the Baba Ba. Shalom.